Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. What are we talking about? It's February 10th. It's almost February 11th. It's the witching hour, right? Is that what they call it? Is that the witching hour?
Yes, it is. It's the wee small hours.
And we will get this episode out probably once it's over.
Yes.
So you will get this episode on February 11th, early Thursday morning. YSGOAT News, almost live.
Yeah.
We just, why is it not live? Because once in a while, the wrong word gets sent.
Right.
And then you're fired from Star Wars.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute because there's something even more pressing that we need to talk about first, and that is cat lawyer.
That is probably the most important thing of our time. I don't think there's anything else going on in the world that is as important.
No.
That's true, right? This is it. It's been a really boring 2021, very uneventful compared to what was going on in 2020. I mean, nothing has happened in 2021, right?
Very little.
You would think it was January 3rd, but it's not. We're almost in the middle of February already. It's just a snail pace. Actually, I'm just kidding. This has been a weird, bizarre, horrific year so far. Me and Joseph are doing well. I mean, I don't know, unless Joseph's not telling me. But I think we're doing well. But I guess on a grand scale, 2021's been a kind of what that meme with here comes 2020, and then 2021 comes along and says, "Hold my beer."
Yes,
that classic meme. The hold my beer meme, 2021 is that hold my PCP.
Right. Yeah, it is. It was. Look, it was 2020 was terrible. 2021 has certainly had its ups and downs. But then, for a brief moment, we all were able to forget our problems at the expense of someone else's problem, which was an attorney in a district court somewhere in Texas, not knowing how to turn his internet filter off, his Zoom filter off, where he appeared in a legal proceeding as an adorable cat.
And what's great about this is usually sometimes in these things, it's funny, you would think now all these shows are going to mimic this, skits are going to mimic this, but people have been doing this for years. It's always been kind of like a joke where someone leaves on the filter, someone doesn't know what they're doing. I remember last year, we like that show Superstore on. And, one of the episodes was one of the people was having a serious conversation over Zoom or whatever, but the whole entire time he had all the filters on. So the dog, the dog tongue or the rabbit ears. It would just keep on changing. You know what he was doing, and it was funny. But this cat thing is exceptionally amazing.
It's really good.
It's just a kitty cat picture. And with the eyes moving around, these big, weird, human-like eyes.
Look so concerned.
Concerned and scared, not knowing what's going on. You see, it moving around, makes it look like a cartoon in the eyes, and it's just so. What was the court case?
It was a civil forfeiture case.
Not that exciting.
None of the middle.
I was gonna say, I'm this thing's become a big meme now, and it'd be kind of sadistically funny if the case is something horrific, involving murder or abuse or something, but everyone's laughing about the cat. It's kind of you remember that guy who's the bedroom intruder guy, the video that went around with him singing, he went viral. Where it was they're coming in for your brother, your mothers, your sisters, your brother, and they're gonna wait. Yeah, and it was everyone laughed, and it was really funny, but
it was a serious thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like somebody tried breaking into their house and raped that guy's sister.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what like happened. But because this guy was such a cartoon and the way he was talking, and then those, what were they called? Like the Dougie brothers or whatever.
Yeah, they were really funny. It was like two brothers and a sister or something that
Yeah,
made
they
these
like
little viral videos.
yeah, they like do the whole like where they take words and there's a word for that.
They
Like
auto-tuned it, didn't
yeah,
they? Like
auto-tune all the
yeah.
songs, and they've done tons of these. They're still around. They did something recently.
Oh, okay.
But that video got so big.
Oh,
That guy, like who was the bedroom intruder, not him, but that guy didn't. Thankfully, that guy didn't go viral. The other guy tried to get a career going. I think it kind of fell through, unfortunately for him. But he tried. Like yeah, representation and everything. Like he
good for him.
like, yeah, I think he got some work. But like it's just funny because like the origin of that is so fucked up. I remember like we had like a shirt. I did one on Domo of him, and we wanted it so bad. And Hot Topic was going to order like, this is like I had a license. I was working for a company, had a license for it, and they were going to order like 10,000 of this. It's like something crazy, like a quick order. Like this is going to sell like crazy. And the licensor was like, no way, because the whole thing, well, one, they didn't want Domo looking like that. Kind of, looking back, I could see how it could be like considered kind of offensive.
Sure.
That's another subject, another problem. But it was the root of like of the meme.
Yeah.
Like that was the problem. Like another one we weren't allowed to do with Domo was like Domo will kill a cat or something. But the origin of that was like if Domo catches you masturbating or something, like a cat gets killed. I don't know. There was like it was like a viral meme. So and these things get shared a lot, and they get desensitized.
Yeah.
Right? What its origins are, but with this cat lawyer, thankfully, because before we start talking about it, I was like, what was the case? Because I'm like, I want to make sure the case, this cat lawyer thing isn't going to be tainted by like.
Yeah, it was somewhat benign. Now, I'm sure some civil forfeiture cases are very heartbreaking, although most of them probably aren't. Most of them are probably like, you stopped making payments on your Ford Focus or something. I mean, like that's more often.
We're gonna find out that like 44 people died somehow. Right. The bus exploded, which led to like the forfeiture of. I don't know. Regardless, a lawyer. I would assume this man was 90.
Probably.
He showed up on the Zoom call. It was a judge and two lawyers, and one of the lawyers showed up as a cat, a little kid with very sad, confused eyes, and he didn't know what was going on. He was very confused. And
he assured the judge he was not a cat.
He said, to quote him correctly, "I'm here live. I'm not a cat." And the judge was assured or something that he was not a cat. Someone had to explain that you have your filters on, but it's an amazing 30. It's probably the best 30 seconds you'll ever have this year.
It's really good.
Watching it, it's just super cute, super funny, and I've never seen a cat look so confused before.
2021 peaked early.
Yeah. It's like, okay, for every violent coup attempts that results in death, damages, and injuries, here comes a confused man with a filter left on for him. There's a little kitten who's kind of balances it out.
Yeah. I knew it was funny because I knew it was funny because I found it funny, but like I knew it was going to be popular because all sorts of people were commenting on it. I mean, like my kid liked it and found it kind of independently on TikTok, and like some of our neighbors were texting it back and forth and everything. So I knew it'd have some wide popularity. And you did a shirt about with this.
I did. Right? I immediately this morning, I kind of am angry. I wish I kind of did it yesterday, but I popped my brain to do it this morning. I made I'm here live. I'm not a cat, and you could get it in my Teepublic. It's available on. I made two versions. One, it's a one color print, and it's available white ink on dark color tees, ranging from black, red, purple, whatever, dark gray, and then black ink on light color tees, so white and all that. So
nice.
Different options. I'm been a t-shirt designer for years, so I kind of really careful with like how ink is laid out. The one thing that drives me crazy, like I will not buy tees because of this sometimes, depending on the tee and stuff, is when people print black ink on a black tee.
Oh yeah.
It just looks bad. It looks like a mistake. It looks like the artist or whoever did it doesn't understand. Like, no, the black should be knocked out always on it. I mean, sometimes some graphics need it. I'm not gonna get into that. So,
well, I know exactly what you mean. I had a Portland Timbers t-shirt. That's a soccer team from Portland. And for some inexplicable reason, they put green ink on a green shirt, and it was like, it would have been a super cool shirt, except it looked cheap and fake, and like someone had just slapped a sticker on top of a shirt.
That's like, was it official?
I don't know. It was from
sometimes
Adidas,
it's a sign that you got a bootleg.
Yeah, well, I bought it off of Amazon.
Well, that could still be a bootleg.
Yeah, no, I was going to say is that like I bought it off of Amazon. The T-shirt itself, I want to say it was like Adidas. It had some Adidas signage on it, but that doesn't mean anything. It probably was bootleg for all I know.
Well, regardless, I don't know. That's always something that even as a kid I like noticed with T-shirts. Like, I'm like, so I'm careful of that. So if you go to my Teepublic store, you can get a cat lawyer shirt. The link will be on this episode.
Nice, love it.
Right, Joseph?
Yeah.
I will send that link to you. Joseph is not just the co-host of YSGOAT, but he's also the IT guy.
Yeah, right.
He will say to me, "Did you make sure to turn it off first when you started?" And he does his best Jimmy Fallon impression.
That's true.
Okay, so yeah, Cat Lawyer was great.
Yeah.
It's lighthearted. And I feel like it's gonna be one of the. I could be wrong, but I think it's like one of those type of things that could survive more than like 3 days.
Yeah,
It'll become something else.
Exactly. Even if you never saw the video, the meme or the T-shirt or the whole idea of it is still hilarious, because a cat explaining that it's not a cat is just inherently funny.
Right, and people would say things like, "That's what a cat would tell you."
Right.
And the thing that's funny too about it is that, like, okay, so like the Bernie meme was funny. Bernie was like after when Biden was inaugurated, which I guess he's supposedly 3 weeks into his presidency now. Yeah. Bernie had a funny image of him with his little mittens, and it became viral. I feel like, I don't know if that will survive. I mean, I just don't think it'll be as like, I feel like the thing is like, this is a cat and it's so abstract in a way.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the best memes are like these abstract things that could become.
Well, it's super absurd, I mean, like the Bernie meme was a little absurd because he was like kind of this grouchy old man with these mittens and whatever.
And they put him in so many, they just cut and paste him in it. Did you see the dancing lady in Myanmar when the coup? There was this aerobics instructor or whatever.
Right.
Like
she inadvertently caught these trucks rolling by like at the beginning of the coup.
And the music that's going along, it's just so surreal.
Yeah.
It's like she's just doing the dance and this like music that she's playing to it. And you just see all these military trucks like coming in. You don't see like anything too crazy, but it's still enough that you're like, wow.
Right. And then the music shifts to "That's When I Reached for My Revolver," which was like
what?
Isn't that classic Mission of Burma song? Isn't that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, did like sales, Mission of Burma sales go up that day? Not because of her, but just because there was a coup in Myanmar. Like, we're back. Burma's back, baby.
Get the band back together.
Myanmar is now Burma again. I don't know if that
Yeah.
would be the case. I don't even.
I doubt it.
Okay. So but the Bernie thing was such a could be like a flash in the pan. You'll still see it referenced and stuff, but everyone had a take on it. But it was like everyone just cut and paste Bernie and put him all different things.
Yeah.
I mean, literally by like within 2 days, you saw Bernie in almost everything.
Right.
But I did want a Bernie where I didn't do Bernie. I did Batman.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I had a sketch. I do these sketch covers.
Yep.
There's comic companies, they put out blank variants of issues sometimes if there's like a number one.
Yeah.
Issue. They do these blank variants that artists can draw. It's for people to like either take conventions, get an artist to do a sketch on it, or whatever. Or some people just don't do anything with them, but they're blank covers. So I have some of my that I draw on and sell them. And I did want a Bernie, but I did it as Batman posing as Bernie. Batman is Bernie.
Yeah, that's good.
But I was like, at that point, like everything was already done. And I was like, man, what the fuck am I going to do? I need to do one. I have no choice. As somebody who does this stuff, I need to make a Bernie meme. Yeah. I did a Batman, so close enough, I guess. Not really. But this one, I jumped on it at the right moment. I admit it. I put it out there. I'm not a cat. Wait, I don't even know what the line is anymore. Look at that.
I am live.
I am here live. I'm not a cat.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing I ever made, and it's amazing. So
yeah.
You can see on my Instagram, Rob Israel Art, Rob Israel. You can see 2 accounts. You can see it on Twitter, Rob Israel Art, or Facebook, Rob Israel Art. And it's in my Teepublic. I might put them in some other stores. We'll see. So yeah, I don't know. Anything else to say about Cat Lawyer?
No, it's you've probably seen the clip already. If you haven't, then definitely check it out. You can just Google Cat Lawyer.
I'm just thankful that again we don't know what the fraudulent case was for. Could be something awful, but at least when you hear fraudulent case, most people will just stop there and be like, yeah, that's nothing.
Right.
Hopefully there's no intrepid reporter that comes in. And like kitten lawyers now, like he was like the defense for like a fucking, I don't know, Pol Pot or something.
A white power meth ring or something.
Yeah, the leader of the insurrection and the 6th, and all of a sudden cat meme is now like, so
toxic,
like Nazis and shit, and then like,
well,
try to get a role in the Mandalorian season 3.
I was going to say, speaking of other things that were briefly enjoyed and then ruined, Cara Dune found herself canceled.
You mean Cara with a Q?
Yeah,
and Cancel with a Q. Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
So Gina Carano is the star, one of the stars in Mandalorian.
Yep.
Yeah, she was. She played we did episodes on Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We did every episode of we did an episode for every episode of the Mandalorian season 2. You can listen to it anywhere you download podcasts. Yeah. Go to our Podbean, go to our Apple, whatever. You see our page, you will see we did an episode for, so there were 8 episodes, so there's 8 episodes corresponding for YSGOAT. Cara Dune was in like 4 episodes. She was a decent amount.
Yeah.
And she was, this gotta suck because she was probably supposed to be in that spinoff show.
Yeah.
The, what is it? The Storming in the Capitol?
Right. Cara Tatooine Ranger, I think, or something.
What? Something Rangers.
It was something like Rangers of the New Republic or Rangers.
Yeah, that's it. Something, or maybe it was Walker, Texas Rangers.
Something like that. She really had it made. She was on a well-performing show with a great cast and a great future and a lot of money behind it, and she could have bankrolled herself into perpetuity.
Here's the thing too, it's like, okay, so Cara did this is when I found out about her, like listen, she's right wing or whatever, I really don't care. I don't care, whatever. Like, you get shitty politics or whatever. But like, if you're starting to like start quoting like QAnon and being transphobic, now I see people saying that like Rosario Dawson has like some issues or so. I don't think she herself has issues with trans people. I can't speak for her. I'm not her lawyer, so I have no idea. I'd say look it up and see it for yourself. I think it's very different. I think there was like an isolated incident with a person who happened to be trans with her family. I don't look it up. I don't know the full deal, but I don't think Rosario Dawson was going on Twitter and quoting QAnon, which Gina Carano was doing, and like, kind of like sending like stop the steal. Like she was.
I think that's the big difference.
What?
I think that's the big difference. A lot of people were saying that Bill Burr had some questionable jokes and stuff like that, but I think there's a huge difference between ever having said anything problematic ever versus currently in the heat of the moment when we're, fighting for our democracy, engaging that bullshit right now and being unapologetic about it and ramping it up. I think that's a night and day difference.
Right. I mean, there's a difference between like constantly, telling people to go on Parler, which was considered problematic.
Yeah.
Being that people were using Parler as kind of like the little discussion on how they're going to raid the Capitol on the 6th. And, denying the election. I've heard, I'd be honest, I heard like a year ago that people were like saying that she should be fired. Like she's supposedly is incredibly transphobic. She's one of those jackasses who puts like things in their profile like beep boop beep or whatever.
I identify as an assault helicopter or something. It's like, hilarious.
Yeah, it's as in you're being sarcastic. Right?
Yeah.
It's the one joke they know. It's like, and that it's not a joke. And it's just, I think you're right. Where did she post today though? Let me see if I have it. I think I might have screenshot it, or let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. It's really funny. The timing was crazy. I mean, listen, I tweeted this thing at like three hours ago. Then like 20 minutes later, she was fired. So I like to think that my tweet that got 50 likes and 3 comments was probably the thing that did her in.
Could have been.
So she tweeted on, this was in her stories. It already starts off good because you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Jews. All right.
Great opener.
That's you already got me at Jews. So let's see where else this goes. Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. What? Yeah, not by Jews weren't beaten by. There's no. What the fuck? What is she? And she's like, she took this from something. Warrior Priest Jim podcast. Ooh, that sounds. Yeah, I wonder what kind of fucking.
Well, I didn't realize that Warrior Priest Jim had said this, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate my stance. Warrior Priest Jim has never steered me wrong before.
But she like reposted this as one of her stories. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? My head is bleeding. I read this, and there's blood gushing out of my ears and my eyes and my nose. I'm having an aneurysm.
This group of people is obsessed with being a victim. They
they're the first people that always tell you stop being a victim.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You got you're being big. You're being marginalized and stuff. You're losing work and because of bigots, and you're Oh no! Why are you being a victim? But these people are a victim all the fuck. Trump's entire 4-year presidency, he played the victim card the whole time, and it was hysterical. I'm like, wait, you're this macho man? It's like they had to play macho man because because he was the complete opposite of a macho man. Yeah, and also was, you know,
Yeah,
probably had other context involved that had nothing to do with
it. Is super bizarre, but they are obsessed with being victims.
But it's
and
like, first of all, I'm sorry. Oh, and I love it. You will see right wingers all the time. They still try to push this thing. The Nazis were socialists. And it's like, no, they were not social. Yes, was the word socialist in their name? Yeah, but it was like almost considered like a bait and switch. They were basically a fascist party.
It's these people, they're not arguing from a historical perspective. I mean, they're just like throwing out words.
These are the same people that'll tell like black people that like the Democrats are the party of the Klan, ignoring the fact that there's like a 70-year history of where the party's completely flipped and all of the racist Democrats became, where'd they go? What did they become? I don't know. Oh, they're storming the Capitol.
There's plenty of Republican senators today that started out as Democrats. That Richard Shelby from Alabama, he was a Democrat. And not terrible, when he first got started in politics, then he became a Republican. Like when
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because the party shifted. Yeah. One party literally ran on a Southern strategy, and now it's starting to lose. The Southern strategy is the reason why, like, they've been trying to play that for years, and they're starting to lose that now, because we're at the last election. But Gina Carano posting this is so moronic, so, like, I don't know if she's an idiot or she's duplicitous or both. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, really, like, first of all, what? Jews were beaten in the street, not by Nazis. Yeah, I mean, they were beaten by people, and then those people were either Nazi soldiers or they became Nazi soldiers, or they work in tandem with Nazi soldiers.
I'm even gonna forgive that end of it. It's the part where she says the Republicans of today are just like the Jews of the 1940s. That's where everything kind of like it. At that point, it doesn't matter who originally persecuted the Jews. I mean, I know it matters in real life, but like yeah.
Joseph, you said Joseph said it first. It doesn't matter.
But like,
you're canceled.
That part becomes secondary to the fact that she's saying she is experiencing a similar type of persecution.
Right. Her grievance is the same as people who were thrown in a ghetto, literally had all their possessions taken away, thrown on a train, sent to death camps, and then slowly killed or quickly executed towards the end of the war.
Once you realize she's making that argument, you kind of have to step back and say, okay, I don't need to educate her on World War II quite in depth. I just need to explain to her.
Are you going to mansplain, Joseph?
Yes.
In this case, yes. Call it whatever you want.
Right.
I mean,
well, I don't know. I just can't imagine being so obsessed with my victimhood that I needed to ruin my gravy train career in the Star Wars empire. I don't think people
understand. Being in Star Wars is not, and especially like whatever Disney, which is what the Mandalorian's finally perfecting what Disney really wanted to do with Star Wars. They tried doing it with Rogue One and Solo, and they failed, where they were trying to make a franchise outside of the Skywalker universe, something that like could be like the MCU of Star Wars. And it's like they finally got it with the Mandalorian. Now that they announced all these spin-offs, and all these spin-offs are going to culminate into other things and lead to movies. And she could have been on all those things. She could have her own show. She probably would have showed up on Ahsoka. She probably would have showed up on season 3 of Mandalorian. She probably would have showed up in like God knows what other. There was a movie. You have people who like this character. They don't know her political beliefs. They don't know what they are. And so they see like Save Gina Carano. They're like, oh yeah, I want to save Gina Carano because I like her in The Mandalorian. She
could have still held pretty abhorrent beliefs, just presented them decently. I mean, like.
Well, don't quote QAnon once we go long or whatever that fucking line is. You know, don't like
right. Don't
you know,
join
be
a
a
death
little
cult.
yeah, and don't don't compare your to I don't know the Holocaust. I think it's it's nonsense, and especially when like the people that we're usually questioning or like Republican stuff. Some of these people have some burnt views that can lead to, especially with the Trump years, emboldening white supremacists, nationalists, actually, Nazis, white power movements. There's a lot involved with Trump. I mean, I think voting for Trump 4 years ago, I would have thought you were a shithead, but voting for him 4 years later, I like don't even want to do it.
Right. There's a colossal difference. Like voting for him 4 years ago, I don't want to hear it or anything, but like you can bounce back from that. Like if someone said I voted for Trump 4 years ago because I didn't like Clinton and I thought things would change and I was wrong and I wish I had never done that.
Right. They actually realized their mistake instead of now going like
that's fine. I mean, like
cry me a river. I'm gonna like I'm the victim here.
Well, all I can say is that the only comparison, speaking of comparisons, I'm not going to compare it to anything, but she reminds me of one of the 4 little kids who got a golden ticket and then went into Willy Wonka's factory and fucked it up just because they were.
Yeah. Which one is she?
Yeah, she's Violet Beauregard,
The one who ate the thing and then she swelled up.
She became a blueberry.
She became a QAnon nut.
You're turning violet. You're turning.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, but it's like, and that's just okay. Not even just the potential being in other shows, but here's the thing too. Even with her getting fired, now who knows what will go on with conventions and stuff. I mean, we're still in like the pandemic. I know shows are starting to happen bigger, more. Depending on, even though. And people are too anxious, and maybe they might want to call this year out too. Who knows? People probably can't afford to. But regardless, she will be able to make a career for the rest of her life. I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine. She'll star in some fucking Daily Wire Ben Shapiro produced piece of shit movie, whatever he puts out, because he's trying to put out movies. They distributed a movie recently called like Live, Run, Die or something.
Oh, mercy.
Die Hard in a school with like what's so funny about this movie?
With an armed teacher is the Bruce Willis
character. No, it's a girl who's like trained by her survivalist dad. And she takes on the like group of Columbine kids. And it's like what's funny about the movie though is like they just distributed it. That's all they did. And the only way to see this piece of shit is if you if you pay like $15 a month for the Daily Wire. So it's like it's not even a distribution. It's not like they're like, we're gonna get this in all the theaters, we're gonna get this on streaming service. Like, no, you want to see this like sub mediocre movie, you're gonna have to subscribe to the Daily Wire.
Nice.
Which the only other content is like I don't know, Ben Shapiro playing the violin or something. So, but like the joke was, there's this guy named Jose that did like a great video on it. It's like his YouTube name is literally Jose. Like he does lots of. I watched some other videos of his, but he did a thing on that movie, and one of the things he said that was really funny was the whole joke of the movie. And I'm surprised he didn't go on too long about this, but I want to emphasize this. This movie is about a white girl, right? Who is kind of like the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
She takes on these guys, and her boyfriend is a black guy who's kind of like a nerd, right?
Yeah.
If this movie was distributed by someone like a regular studio, Ben Shapiro and all these maggot shows probably can say that this is like Rey and Star Wars. Are we to believe that a girl can do this? Are we to believe? But which is kind of funny. Like they would say that this was SJW, even though the premise, if you watch it, like the director is kind of like a right winger.
Right.
The studio, not as crazy as they are, but like there's like a right wing bend to it. Like the only way to stop these people is with guns. It's like that bullshit. Like, give the teachers guns, and then Let's see what happens.
Mm.
So, but that's like the funniest thing about that is that if it was a girl, like if it was produced by a regular, you would see like all these chuds online complaining about,
100%.
they would throw it, call it SJW shit, and which is hysterical. So I think the irony that is there. So who knows? Maybe Gina Carano will star in some piece of shit movie that they are able to produce. Like I said, it would be. I tweeted that it would be like a Star Wars movie, rip off of Star Wars, basically where the Empire wins all the time. One of my friends in New York put that Ben Shapiro would play Darth Helmet. Yeah, but I said not funny version though. It'd be like,
right. He does have kind of a Rick Moranis energy about him. He does.
Yeah. So like, but like when when Rick Moranis got punched, like you root for that,
right?
Version.
That's true.
Like not regular. So the Gina Carano, like, this is so dumb on her part because it's like she has toys of her out there. There's action figures. There's people who have that. So her character would eventually end up in the comics, and who knows? It's like her character that she has the potential to be in all kinds of things. Now, I'm curious if they're gonna like recast her or just kill the character off. Probably could just. I mean, her character is kind of like a whatever. It's okay. They were starting to develop her a little more this season. I mean,
it was a one-note character. I liked it just fine, but it was basically she was just a tough woman. Like there was no back. Like she had a little bit of a backstory.
It's like a shame that like she is a basically Marjorie Taylor Greene as an actress.
Yeah,
and it's basically. I mean, they probably held like almost the same views. That her character looked different from what you normally see.
True.
As a regular, like a buff-looking woman that is like a leading role in a show like this. Like you don't normally see that. They usually, if you have someone like that, they usually play for laughs or push in the back.
Right.
And here's like the other funny thing, and I just want the irony again of like the whole MAGA. There was this whole thing where like on Twitter and stuff, and on the internet, where people were complaining about how Marvel is portraying the She-Hulk these days.
Okay.
Ernie sounds really stupid when I say that. Let me tell you this. I do not like the way Marvel is depicting the She-Hulk.
Well, are they saying it's too sexualized?
No, not the opposite.
The opposite.
They make her like too buff looking now. So She-Hulk, like when she was first introduced, it was like Savage She-Hulk and kind of like a sexier Hulk. If that's if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their thing. But then over the years, it kind of made her where she was smart, or Jen Walters was. She like retained her intelligence, unlike the Hulk, where the Hulk was like, she was. And she became kind of more of a humorous character and was always depicted as sexy. And then over the years, they tried to change her character because of whatever. But recently, over the years, something happened to her, and she kind of like hulked out. So she basically looks more like the Hulk now, or just a more muscular woman. So people were like, there was like this one guy who was like, I fixed it. And he basically all he did was he just gave this very thick, muscular Hulk woman huge boobs. And it just it almost was like, is this like a joke? Like, is this a cartoon?
Right, is it satire?
Like, I think it's funny. I don't know if this guy meant it to be funny. It was like, no, I improved on this. But the funny thing is, the same people who would like attack She-Hulk the way Marvel's depicting her right now would defend Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Who kind of resembles more what the She-Hulk is like now.
Right.
And I know someone will say I'm insulting Gina Carano, but whatever. I'm just saying there's like an irony there.
Yeah. That is weird. I think that's kind of endemic in the whole right-wing worldview, and this is also kind of ironic. They used to bitch so much about relative morality or like relativism, and every every decision they make or everything they care about is relative to what they believe elsewhere. Like if they get it in their head that Gina Carano is a victim and aligned with them, they'll champion her. And then if something else were to happen, they would argue a completely opposite position. It's just a bizarre worldview where the end justifies the means.
Right. So they feel like they're under attack too, because it's like Gina Carano was the only true representation of the MAGA within like Marvel, Disney, or Star Wars. And it's like, okay, whatever. But maybe like, I don't know, don't post weird Nazi shit.
This one's an easy one. Like the red line
QAnon stuff.
Yeah, the QAnon stuff should have been a red line, but like every reasonable thinking adult member in a privileged class knows the two things you don't compare yourselves to are the slavery experience and the Holocaust experience. Those are just off. No good will ever come of you trying to compare yourself to anyone who's ever experienced those things. That's like you learn that shit in high school. Everybody knows that shit. So what is a grown woman?
And to me, it's almost like like you're showing that you have no sympathy for people who have real grievances.
Yeah.
It's like those people who say like this is reverse racism, and it's like only people who say shit like that are racist as fuck.
Donald Trump was president for 4 years, and the Republicans held the Senate for 4 years.
And the Congress for 2 of those years.
And there's more Republican governors than Democratic governors. And there's state legislatures that are predominantly Republican. How the fuck are you a prosecuted minority? Where the
also
fuck planet are you from?
Their Christianity is under attack, and it's like, dude, we're literally the majority religion in the country.
It's the majority religion. It's emblazoned on our money. It's on every piece of money we have.
Your fucking main holiday is considered a federal holiday.
Yeah. So again,
how about church and state separation?
How are these? How are you prosecuted? How is this anything like? Yeah, persecuted.
Yeah.
How?
Just lawyer cat involved for a second.
It's just nonsensical, like to say that,
Well, I think it's like, okay, so it was like, I remember this guy I worked with, and he had some really shitty views, and I remember like there was this commercial with Michael Jordan where do you remember like this commercial? He looked like he had a Hitler mustache. It was like this poor choice of like facial hair. He had like a goatee and it was like almost like he had like a Velcro strip going down his like he wanted to make it look like he had hair going down a straight line.
Yeah.
Except it just looked like a Hitler mustache.
Right.
And the guy who was white was complaining and says like, why does he get to have a Hitler mustache? And I said to him like, why? Well, one, do you want one?
Yeah, you can have one.
No, I mean, no, I'm just saying like, I don't think he should have it either. I think it was poor choice on his part. But like, do you want one? Like,
is this a complaint?
Like, what's your complaint here? I'm like, what are you getting? First of all, what are you getting at?
Yeah.
I know what he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't take a genius to figure out race-baiting bullshit he's doing. But my main thing was like, well, it's like the people who complain like, oh, yeah, I can't say the N-word. They say, the rappers say it. It's like, well, I don't know, say it and find out what happens.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
have at it.
Have at it. Go for it. Just make sure you do it as loud as possible. So that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the Gina Carano thing, I mean, I could go on for, I just think it's hysterical. But again, it's like being in Star Wars is a privilege because it's not just that you will be in, even if you're just in one fucking movie, you can make an entire career out of being in just one thing of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Like the kid who played Boba Fett in the Attack of the Clones, who's now like how old Boba Fett should be, has made a career of that. I don't think he's ever started in anything else, but he does conventions. He's Boba Fett to a lot of people growing up, even though he was just a little kid in it, never wore the helmet or anything. But he made a career of that. Yeah. And it's like she can do the same thing. It's a privilege to do that kind of stuff. Like, I think the guy who played Darth Vader, not James Earl Jones, but the guy who was dressed as Darth Vader, basically got kicked off of the convention circuit or whatever because I don't know. Look it up. There's some things. But
but you can make bank. That guy who played Lobot, he used to sign autographs, but he would only take money in Bitcoin. Now he's a millionaire.
Shut up.
He's a billionaire.
That guy actually is it. That's so stupid. It's Dogecoin, Joseph.
I'm sorry. Yes, now he makes so much money. He's much wealthy. He's
much wealthy. So, but I mean, like, so for her to be in a Star Wars is like, it's a fucking privilege. Like,
she could have been the next Lobot, but now she's just a reviled turf. So
I said, what the fuck is this shit? People who have worms for brains shouldn't be allowed to be in Star Wars. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. They were saying, like, there was people too, like, supposedly the guy who plays Star-Lord. I don't know.
Chris Pratt.
I don't know if he's like done anything like her, but like supposedly I think it's more like his church is like.
Yeah, that's a weird one. He seems like everyone who has worked with him said, no, he's real chill. He's not, he's not. I don't know.
There were nice guys in the Nazi party.
Well, I think here's, and again, I maybe I shouldn't even like go into it because I don't know all the specifics, but
I don't really know 100% either.
The little I understand of it is that, like, look, someone can believe whatever they want to believe, but they're not forcing it down anyone else's throat, and most people are pretty okay with that. Like, if you are a mainstream Christian and you really believe gay marriage is wrong, and so you tell yourself, you know what, I'm not going to get gay married, then, and everyone else can do whatever they'd like, and I love them and I wish them the best, then most people will respect that. Like, oh, okay, you don't want to do it yourself, so you don't do it? Cool, perfect. But it's the forcing your viewpoint on other people.
Well, the problem is a lot of people like that tend to believe that their religion is the law of the land.
Yeah,
they believe that it's a Christian nation. They believe that it's, so they dominate the conversation by doing, you know what I mean? Like it becomes like beyond, it's like, well, no, my personal beliefs are what the beliefs are. Like abortion is evil and, gay marriage is evil. There's only two genders. They go on and on. They'll say like whatever their religion depicts as a sin. So, and they bring that into politics.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, no one's gonna believe this. There's politics and literally everything.
Almost everything,
Everything. Where you eat, what you do, what time you wake up, where you work, who you hang out with, who you talk to, what podcast you listen to.
Yeah.
That says a lot. And some people hate listen to things like all our viewers, they hate listen, which is cool. We welcome everything you do, every bit, the kind of car you drive.
Yeah.
That is true. It's all political. Your religion is political. It's political to when you make it political, when you have someone or you have a business and you put that I'm a Christian-run business or I'm in this kind of business. This is all political decision making.
Yeah.
You're making
it's almost, I would say it's on a spectrum too. Like you can there's a big, in my head, and I'm not saying that this is absolute, there's a big difference between like listening to, Nazi death metal and listening to an artist who has problematic views. You mean
like the guy from the Smiths?
Him, yeah, well, that's a good one. He's like on that kind of borderline. But like even, I'm trying to think of like, man, like if you get into, a lot of them are just weird. Like I was when they were canceling Lou Dobbs the other week.
Oh, I'll talk about that. We should add that to the list.
I remember Joey Ramone sang a song about Maria Bartiromo, about how much he loved her.
Well, he probably thought she was hot.
Yeah, he did. Like,
she was the money honey.
She was the money honey. Right. And so, like,
now she's a fucking.
And one of the Ramones was a straight up, like, hardcore right winger. You know,
Tommy
like,
Ramone was no, Johnny Ramone, not Tommy.
That's right.
Johnny Ramone was a big time Republican. Not just like I have some Republican views and I vote Republican, but like big time. Like when they got entered into the Hall of Fame, Johnny Ramone said,
he said, "God bless George Bush" or something.
Yeah, George W. Bush, and he did that almost to spite Joey, because Joey was very political too, but on the opposite end.
Yeah.
There was a great documentary about them, and they fucking hated each other.
Oh, bad.
I'm surprised they were in bed, but Johnny Ramone seemed like a miserable fucking person.
He did.
But he was the guy who supposedly kept the band in line. Probably if it weren't for him, like fucking Dee Dee Ramone would have shot the entire Ramones record collection into his fucking what do you call it? His
yeah. The original song is like, "Now I want to sniff some glue, but first I'm going to record this track." Like that was Johnny's contribution to this.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever.
But first I'm going to turn in my rough draft of the liner notes, but first.
Well, regardless, his beliefs and stuff didn't like go into the music.
I'm just saying that, like, in my head, there's a spectrum, because like all these, like you said, everything's political, and it's tough to find an artist who is like 100% like.
Slayer is like horrendously right wing.
Yeah, Slayer, but Metallica. I mean, like, there's a lot.
Metallica is. I don't know.
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know.
But here's the thing: if they don't, then whatever, because they don't make it about. I'm sure you can find out if you really want to look it up, but I don't care. But clearly, you don't have to, because I've been in to get like Gene Simmons, who's like a huge right winger.
Oh yeah,
it's obvious. Like I said, if it was up to Trump, Gene Simmons would have been in his administration.
Right. Yeah.
As the I don't know, space demon or something. I'm bidding you in Space Force because you're
Space Force. Well, okay, so we were going to move on to we had a couple other things we wanted to talk about before we got to the big impeachment stuff.
I guess we'll just talk about real quick Lou Dobbs.
Yeah.
I didn't even. So speaking of cancel culture, Speaking of cancel culture, the Gina Carano thing is one thing. It's funny and everything. It's not funny, but it's more just like it's on the entertainment side.
Right.
And, her, I'm sure we'll find out more. And like I said, there'll be like a billion videos from MAGA Chuds complaining. It's kind of funny. One of the lines they always say is like, get woke, go broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like their line for like anytime companies like Disney or Marvel or whatever, or Star Wars, or the same thing in a way, or DC Comics, Warner Bros., whenever they try to put like a transgender character in, or they make Doctor Who a woman, they do all these things, they'll come back and say, the ratings are terrible, everything is a disaster, get woke, go broke. That's their line. And it's complete bullshit. But what would you call Gina Carano's case? Go get QAnon, go what, broke? I mean, get woke, go broke. Like, it has a ring to it because it rhymes, and I was trying to find a word that rhymes with QAnon.
With unemployed.
Yeah. Get QAnon, go on the unemployment line. Like, what rhymes with QAnon?
That's a good one. QAnon. Get QAnon, career be gone.
That's it. There you go. Get QAnon, career be gone. Perfect. We're gonna name our episode this. We're gonna we're gonna be the new. You know what? I'm gonna tweet this right now. I'm gonna tag you in it because this was get QAnon, and then what?
Career be gone.
Career be gone. And be gone because I can't.
Yeah, I would say I'd say it's 2 words. Be gone. Career be gone.
Oh, God, that's so funny.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one, Gina. You can put that in your Twitter bio, Gina.
Get QAnon, career be gone. let me capitalize gone.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Well, yeah.
All right. So hopefully I spelled that right. You ever tweet something and then you look back, you're like, oh my
man.
God. And like, how the fuck did I even spell that wrong? It's like fat fingers.
I cannot type on a keyboard. I'm constantly misspelling things. And I spell pretty well, but I can't type for shit. And I don't know. I look back on my Twitter feed sometimes. I'm like, oh my God. You know, most of the time too, I'm doing it with one hand as I'm trying to walk the dog or something. So anyway. But yeah, Lou Dobbs canceled.
Yeah, so
Fox's...
Lou Dobbs, who is the highest rated show on
Fox, yeah.
Fox Business, not Fox News.
Oh, okay.
Fox Business is not, I don't think it,
right.
I think where Fox News tends to lead, even though I think they're not lead. I don't know. It's weird. I hear stories that like Fox News does not lead anymore. They used to. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Fox Business has always been kind of like a disaster. And Lou Dobbs, Lou Dobbs is old as fuck, so they're probably like, let's get room. But because Fox is getting sued by, it was Dominion, and there was another one.
Yeah, there's another voting company that sued him, and he was just fucked. I mean, they're going to be tied up in lawsuits forever.
So they got rid of him, but then people are like, okay, well, what about like, I don't know.
Maria Bartiromo and Tucker Carlson.
Oh, Maria Bartiromo was insane.
I don't know what happened. I seem to remember her being like just sort of middle of the road financial.
I think she was. Clearly she was. I mean, a lot of those people are usually pretty far right, and you just get like sucked into it.
She hosted a presidential debate like 4 years ago or something.
Really?
Almost positive. Yeah, I mean,
right. Yeah.
Because I remember watching it with my wife, and my wife was like kind of commenting on like her outfit choice or whatever. But yeah, I mean, she was like treated as a respected journalist not that long ago, and now she's just insane.
Yeah, she sounds no different than Lou Dobbs or any of the other people on there. I mean, but they got rid of him. I mean, he basically spent the last 4. I mean, he's always been a crank. I mean, he's always said horrible things about like Obama when he was president, and like, you know, whatever. He's been a right-wing crank for years, but he's just become a complete Trump psycho fan. And he was pushing election disinformation for months.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a price to be paid. You're supposed, you know, at the end of the day, okay, you're a news outlet, and Fox has been getting away with murder for years. They'll try to claim that they're not even news or whatever, which is bullshit.
Right.
But guess what? If you're you know, and let's just say this, you know, these are major companies. They're not your friend. They're not like, I mean, like, they're not the little guy, you know, like but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's satisfying.
Yeah.
You know, you love to see it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Like Gina Carano getting fired for her opinions. You can look at it also and like, well, that's kind of fucked up too, because it's a major corporation.
Yeah.
And they own so many things, so now she's gonna have a hard time, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
but you love to see it.
Oh yeah.
It's satisfying.
Feels good, man.
Yeah, feels good, man. What was that? Is that a thing?
That's that little racist frog. That's that little
my favorite. The guy, the frog that created it all.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's something. I guess, you know, we were going to talk next about we were going to shift gears and talk about vaccines.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean, the vaccine they said today that it's now 28% more, or I don't know what that means, but
I heard that
they got 2.5 million last week or something. Or?
Yeah, I guess they're cranking it out. No, it's still not great by any stretch.
No, it's not. But they literally were left nothing. There was nothing. The Biden administration walked in the doors, and everyone wasn't there to greet them. That was one thing. That's a different story. But
they said some of the doors were locked. They had to call like security to let them in.
Oh, you serious?
The doors to the White House were locked. Like when Biden and his wife went up, they were just fucking amazing.
What a joke. Yeah. So they were left with nothing, no structure, nothing. I mean, it's the complete opposite of what Trump came into.
Right.
They literally left the Biden, the Obama-Biden administration gave Trump pretty much like a Bible.
Yeah.
And Trump literally just tossed
Flushed it.
Yeah. And this is the complete opposite. You know, this is something that people need to realize. And this seems to be a recurring problem when there's a Republican administration and a Democratic administration. And it seems to just get worse and worse. Because at least like, you know, supposedly with the Republican, well, at least with Bush, like kind of worked with Obama.
Yeah, I would say so.
That, you know, it was a country. I don't know. Who knows how it really went down. But regardless, this is just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it is. But the big news was that the Biden administration, when Trump was president, he promised X number of vaccines per day, and he never delivered on dick. And when Biden took over, within 2 or 3 weeks, Biden was delivering 10 times as many vaccines per day than Trump promised.
And the thing was, if Trump actually had a structure that Biden could build off of,
right, it could have been.
This would have been even better. But there was literally nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. My dad, who lives in New York, he says the waiting is forever because Trump pretty much tried to fuck all the blue states.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I've heard that too. My dad in Florida was fortunate enough to get his first dose. He had no ill effects. He feels great. And he's scheduled to get his next one, I'd say in like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks or so. And you've had your first one and you're up for your second one soon.
It's supposed to be next week, but we're having some weather things around here. So we'll see what happens.
My wife is on the list and is moving up, although there's a lot of people on the list. I am not able to get on a list yet, but I bet you I can get by summer. I'll bet you I can get a better sense of where I stand.
You'll have it by late spring.
You think?
First dose.
Yeah,
I think they said in Texas supposedly they might be able to open it up to everybody not too far in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
I mean, they need to get everyone vaccinated. It's the only way that we'll really be able to overcome this. I mean, that really is, you know, the variants or everything going to get worse. And if people are not vaccinated, it's just going to get worse. And we're not going to, and, you know, we got to be able to get, you know, it's like, oh, you want to get back to normal? Okay. But then you see, like, we talked about this, those psychopaths that came to, like, Dodger Stadium. People like, denying vaccines. Fucking, I saw, like, the other day, like, something Rogan said he's not getting it. It's like stupid shitheads like that. It's just like, it doesn't help. And it's crazy because it's like, dude, this is the worst fucking pandemic. 400, almost, what is it? 455,000 people are dead from this?
Yeah, coming up on 500,000.
But you get all these dunces who will say, like, well, that's not really the case. Those were all comorbidities. And they say things like, all of a sudden now they're like scientists or whatever.
Yeah, they're all
like,
fucking epidemiologists.
Yeah, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, stop being a dick. Stop being a butthead.
I'll tell you, it is, if anybody wanted a clear sense or a real easy sense of, like, the difference between how incompetent Trump was, and I'm not even saying Biden's like super competent at this. I'm just saying this administration is doing the job. You get regular briefings. No one's talking about fucking injecting your veins with bleach. No one's talking. I mean, it's like competent professionals. More and more people are getting vaccinated every day. There seems to be some sort of organization to it. It's night and day. You know?
Oh, it's not. Yeah, you're not like having an administration come in and like try to put a Muslim ban first day, try to you know, shut down DACA immediately, put a trans ban all in like your first week or two. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the complete opposite.
So
like, there's people in this country that have like these huge grievances. Oh, here's one. I know we were going to talk about the impeachment next.
Yeah.
But this one's really funny because it kind of has something to do with the impeachment. So according to QAnon.
Yes.
March 4th, Donald Trump's going to be the 19th president of the United States.
Yeah.
Because according to what whatever, QAnon.
Sovereign law. Yep.
There has not been a legal president of the United States since 1872.
Who knew?
Who knew this? I mean, I think if that's the case, then Trump was a fraudulent president also.
Yeah. Can't have a 45th if you don't have a 44th.
Yeah. Well, I get they see that. That's why he becomes the 19th.
Okay.
They see this is very clever. The kid, clever with a kid. clever.
Well, I'll tell you, I lived out in Oregon for a while, and there were a lot of those sovereign people, and they had all these weird little rules, like they wouldn't pull over for a city cop, but they'd pull over for a sheriff, because the sheriff was an elected position and the city cop was appointed. They had all these little rules, and fucking Oregon always like kowtowed to them. And like, if a cop pulled over a sovereign guy, they'd like stay there until a sheriff's deputy would show up and shit. I mean, it's just embarrassing. But this group of people, the QAnon people, those death cultists, they 100% believe this.
March 4th.
Yep, I look at their stuff on Facebook all the time, and I see some guy posting, they all are like, this is going according to plan and blah, blah. And hundreds of these people believe this shit. And I like click on their links, to see them. Some of them look like bots or trolls or whatever, but there's like a legitimate good percentage of them, like the majority of them. Man, if they're bots, they're really great bots, because they have years and years of history and family photos and detailed Facebook profiles and shit. I mean, like,
no, they're probably legit. They're
legit people, is what I'm
really
getting at.
Yeah. I mean, like, these people are crazy, but like, the thing is that, like, I mean, one, it doesn't even make any sense, but the punchline of this entire thing is, what hotel in the DC area do you think has, for some reason, hiked up their rates on March 4th?
Yeah, Trump Hotel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny. It's like kind of awesome. I really like how Trump treats his fan base.
I know.
It's like an abusive relationship. He knows, he's the drug.
Well, the Washington Post ran this big article today, and it was on how most of the people that stormed the Capitol, most of the people that got arrested, have had significant money problems. They've gone through multiple bankruptcies, they've had homes foreclosed on, they've had liens placed on their properties, so on and so forth. And the big backlash on Twitter was like, we don't need a fucking sob story about these people and their poor money decisions and how it made them all pissed off at the world and support Trump. But I'll tell you that Jenna Ryan, the realtor from Frisco, Texas, who took a private plane, and now she has two, and like after it, she was all defiant and she's like demanding a part. So anyway, in this Washington Post article, they caught up with her like a day or two ago, changed her tune completely. She's now looking at 4 federal charges. She's probably going to go to prison for a little while. And she is just like floored. She's like, I regret everything. Trump never cared about me. I was just kind of a tool for him to get like an ego boost and to like exert some political leverage. All my decisions were horrible. I don't know what I'm going to do with my dogs while I'm in jail. No one loves me, and like on one hand, like it's kind of hilarious because she is a horrible person. But on the other hand, you're like, what? That's what everyone was trying to tell you, is that Trump doesn't give a fuck about you.
And here's the best part too.
Yeah.
What paper did you say it was in?
Washington Post.
Okay. Well, guess what?
Huh.
No one from her side is going to read that. So no one's going to give a fuck. No one's going to learn. It's like during the when the pandemic, when it started to get like really bad, and you would see people who were like MAGA chud people or whatever, QAnon, coronavirus deniers, people who were like going like this was like during like spring and summer, you would start to see like these people, and they would get it, right?
Yeah.
And you think it would like just register
right
with people, and it was like, no. If anything, they were probably like, they lost all their friends.
Yeah.
They lost like that's how fucked up it is. I mean, you can't tell me it's not like a cult. I mean, come on.
The same thing with this. So I felt bad reading it because I kind of like pictured like this woman, I guess she's like 50 years old and she's been through like multiple divorces and multiple bankruptcies and multiple foreclosures.
She's been through divorce? Wow, she seems like a peach though.
Well, yeah, but like, it just seemed like such a sad, abysmal life. And then that's how cults work, is that they find someone who's lost all hope and then they say, you know what?
This is a woman who has a career. And here's the thing. See, she's full of shit because she's not just some like victim.
Oh, yeah. No,
she's like a right-wing radio host. Also,
well, they talked about that too. Apparently, like she claimed that after she got into the MAGA fold, but she purchased that radio time. She was never really a paid host. She purchased like internet radio time. And essentially had like a self-financed, podcast that got broadcast on radio for a little while, and it was mostly real estate tips and stuff like that. So I'm not, look, I agree. She's not a victim per se. I mean, I don't have like,
she travels on a private jet there.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for her in the same way I might feel sorry for like the family members of a guy who was killed for passing a suspicious check, but it is kind of that cult-like thing where like, yeah, who are the people that put their faith in Trump? It's like vulnerable, marginalized people that are angry about being vulnerable and marginalized or whatever. And they're not even that vulnerable and marginalized. They're like relatively wealthy. I don't know, it's a mess. Anyway, that's the.
Well, I mean, it's like. Whoa, sorry. She's the victim, like the way Gina Carano's the victim.
Yeah, well,
even though Gina Carano did not storm the Capitol. Let's just
right. It is weird. I guess we can kind of transition into the impeachment thing because a lot of this is based on Trump's impeachment this time. His second impeachment is based on this this deal where he took all these people and he ramped them up and set them loose on the Capitol. He whipped them into a frenzy and he got them all riled up. And he kept saying that the election was stolen and your voice has been stolen. And I'll tell you, I've followed this impeachment pretty closely. You could not have asked for a better presentation on the side of the prosecution. And you couldn't have asked for a worse defense. Now, I don't know what they could have done to successfully defend, but the defense has been inept. And it's likely that Trump is still going to get acquitted because of the Republican senators.
Because it's political.
Well, I'll tell you, I do want to talk about the impeachment tonight. I mean, that's kind of like on our list and everything, but like, I'm almost to the point where I'm like, you know what, they had to do this. I want them to do this. I want everyone to be on record as to like, this is how I voted in this matter. I want all this stuff to be enshrined in our shared government history. I want there to be Wikipedia entries on this and stuff. But ultimately, nothing's going to happen. And it's going to be like those criminal prosecutions in Georgia. And that's where Trump's going to get justice served, New
York. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. It's like some of these defenses there is nothing to defend. You can't defend this.
Right.
It's like you can't. Okay, so like Charles Manson went to jail.
Yes.
For life for basically influencing a bunch of crazy kids to go kill people. And that wasn't like the whole thing. And I'm not defending Charles Manson. Let me be clear. That was a fucking piece of shit. And it's funny. I learned more about him, and anyone who like idolizes him stuff, let me tell you, I kind of question, like, I'm like, there's nothing punk rock about this guy.
No.
He literally wanted to start a race war.
Yes.
But Trump also wanted to start a race war too.
Yeah.
For political gain, just like most horrible people who gain political power that use race wars as a way to gain power. They tend to be terrible. But like Charles Manson went to jail, and I don't know. Some of it could be one he said crazy things and he looked crazy, but like some things were just insinuated. But they were able to get him thrown in jail for life. But Donald Trump did it in front of the whole world. Everyone could see it. Everyone, this is all on tape. It's all on video.
Yeah.
It's all archived. It's been tweeted. It's been recorded. It was live streamed. Yeah. Everyone saw this.
It's the most documented crime in history, probably. You know, I mean, it's
like imagine if 9/11 happened today, like it would be what we saw, because 9/11, what was crazy about 9/11, on a grand scale, buildings falling and everything, it's pretty insane. But like, we were just on the cusp of like personal, like technology, where people had small video cameras, or people caught it. And so there's like lots of angles, lots of different things. But imagine today with all the phones and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the most insane thing you ever seen. And it would like, so this is insane. And it's like, it should be an open and shut case. There should be no issue for 17 Republicans to come on board and get rid of Trump. But they're so scared. There were some, when they first impeached him in the House, who literally said, if I go home, I'm going to get killed. Now, I don't know if I believe them, but like, that person's probably right.
I'll bet you in some places that's true. You know, I mean, like, you know, Idaho, or I don't know. Hey,
shit kicker.
Whitefish, Montana.
Whitefish, Montana. Shit kicker, Dakota.
Bug Tussle, Arkansas. Warm Spit Springs, Missouri.
Goats Bank, Nebraska. Ox Jizz, North Dakota.
Yeah.
That's listen, I heard you don't win North Dakota unless you get Ox Jizz.
Yeah, that is true.
They're like the love it when during election time, when like what's that guy? I don't know. There's like two of them. One's on CNN, NBC. They always get like they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
You remember their names at all? I guess
one of them's. Man, if you had asked me a minute ago, I would have been able to tell you. I know who you're talking about.
But it's like, one thing I was looking forward to is like when they're like, all right, well, let's look through, we're going to go through Ox Jizz, Nebraska. And we go through and they're like, well, it's really important that they get Shaft and Balls and Nebraska. They came in, all right. Biden can only win Nebraska if he gets Ox Jizz. Oh, looks like I went to Trump. Sorry.
Yeah. So
these are real towns.
So, I get that some of these people might have been scared or whatever, but like, I forget who it was. One of the Democratic impeachment managers said today, like, look, we're not putting Trump in jail. We're not taking a single day out of his term. He got his full 4 years. We are not. Yeah, nothing's going to happen to him other than he can't run again. And he probably won't run again anyway. So why can't you just go on record and say this was wrong?
Because they tied themselves so much to Trump. They made him the platform. There was no platform. The Republicans had no platform. Trump was the platform.
Well, did you see what Hillary Clinton tweeted today? She said that the reason a lot of them can't vote against Trump is that they were co-conspirators.
Yes. That is 100% true.
Yeah, that's like why can't Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz vote?
Well, I don't expect those two. I don't expect any of the people.
Oh yeah,
there's whatever the 11 or 13 people that still, even after it all went down, still argued that night. I mean, that was insane. Imagine you're in the Senate and like you almost killed, and now you have to listen to these fucking. It's like you already hate these people.
Yeah,
they're assholes. They're pieces of shit. You think they're shitheads? I mean, maybe one of them you think is like funny. I don't know.
Right.
The one guy brings donuts. I don't know. He doesn't suck the jelly out of the donut, so that makes him okay, I guess. But like, and then like after your life was like, it's like fucking 2 a.m, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
After today? You still are pulling this shit?
Well,
that blew my mind. I was like,
they should be. I don't know. I don't know what to do about all them. I mean, like, you got to deal with Trump first. You got to run through the impeachment. You and I talked a little bit before we started recording about that video that the Democrats showed. It was like a 13-minute long video that showed it was amazing. They showed the Trump speech, and then they showed like simultaneous footage of the crowd, and then they would show the tweets, and they had it all kind of time stamped so you could see the order in which things were happening. And you could see insurrectionists break into the Capitol, storming the halls, kicking doors, and then you see Trump tweet like something about Mike Pence, about how he's a coward and he won't help you save democracy. And then they flash to the Capitol again, and you see Mike Pence and his whole family evacuating the Capitol. It's like that footage of the U.S. Embassy in Vietnam when they're like lifting off with helicopters and stuff. I mean, it was amazing. It was so devastating in such an airtight case. I don't know. I mean, I am going to be stunned if I were that cop that lost 3 fingers, I'd be suing Trump in civil court.
Yeah, I would sue Cruz. I would sue Ted. I would Hawley. I would go after every Republican that was part of it. I'd go after Cawthorn, Colbert.
All those people, anyone injured or harmed in the Capitol.
I didn't know about the cop with the 3 fingers.
Yeah, one of them had 3 fingers ripped off.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Here's the fucked up thing too. Okay, so us, YSGOAT, we always talk very highly of cops. We're friends, back that blue. Like the great Charlie Daniels said, and Benghazi ain't going away. No, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna do the like, the other side. It was more like I found it ironic that the guys with the blue line flags were literally beating cops
with American flags
at that thing with the blue line flag. That is peak irony.
Well,
and it's kind of like what you said going back to earlier, how they constantly contradict themselves.
Yeah, it's just whatever. They're like fucking toddlers.
I'm back in the blue. You're literally hitting.
They're fucking toddlers. Whatever they feel like doing at that particular moment is the right thing, And I see what you mean, and I agree. Like, I think a lot of the Capitol Police just seemed kind of complicit in this. They would let these protesters in. You contrast how the Capitol Police or how the police in that area treated the protesters in Lafayette Square versus how they treated these protesters. The cops there's a lot of blame to lie with them too. But there were clearly some good cops there. That Eugene Goodman, who helped a lot of people off to safety, was clearly a good cop, or at least good in that moment, And plenty of cops there were probably just like, look, man, I want to do my 9 to 5, and I want to go home and have a beer and watch TV and just go to all.
There was probably some of them are like, I am part of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's
been multiple police chiefs that have been caught throughout the country.
Oh yeah,
pushing QAnon
patches on their uniforms and shit. Yeah.
So there was some cop somewhere. I don't know if it was at the thing or recently. They had like Trump patches on her.
I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. I think it was today or yesterday. But it's just a mess, and I liked what Hillary Clinton said probably more than most of what I saw, where she's like, look, these are the people on the jury, they're co-conspirators. But you're not going to get a fair shake here.
The scary part about this whole thing is, there's been a lot of, speaking of Nazi Germany, back to our friend Gina Carano, said that the scary thing about this whole thing was in early 20s, the Nazis in Germany attempted a coup.
Oh, yeah.
And it failed.
Right. And Hitler got put in jail. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he put out his book and whatever. And then within 10 years, the Nazi party was running the country.
Yeah. That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it in that way, but
this should never be held like lightly. This should never, like what happened on January 6th, should never be held lightly. Should never be that it is important that Biden and the Democrats get things done, and they fucking ram everything through, because these people are not your friends. They have showed no remorse for what they're doing.
None.
And when they vote to not impeach Trump or indict him or whatever,
Yeah.
they are basically saying to you, we will do this again.
Oh, 100% they're saying, yeah.
They literally are saying that in their defense. Imagine if this was the other way. Like,
Yeah.
we will be in charge and we will do it to you.
Well, I
But
would
we'll
say
do it to you without any reason whatsoever.
I'm glad the Democrats are doing this in the Senate. I don't think it's going to do any good, but I'm glad they're doing it. They
It's
needed to
important
do
that
it.
Georgia, that those 2 seats went to the Democrats.
Yeah.
I don't care if people think this is performative. I don't care if, like, you know, there's going to be some dipshit in line who claims he's a leftist going to say this is all performative. Like, fuck that person. This is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
This should be a teachable moment for people to know what is going on in the country, and to know that, like, and to villainize some of these senators, because
Right.
they're not patriots, they're traitors.
I don't know why. The one complaint I have with the Democrats' strategy here is that they're not calling witnesses, or it doesn't seem like they're going to call witnesses. I'd 100% call witnesses. I would call them up, and I'd start with Trump, and when he didn't show, I'd say, look, he's in contempt of court. He's got to come, and I'd make the Supreme Court make a decision on it, and I would drag it out, and fuck that. I'd 100% call witnesses. And I'd fucking call Ted Cruz as a witness, and I'd call Josh Hawley as a witness, and I'd call all of those motherfuckers as witnesses. And if the Republicans want to call witnesses, of course, they can go up and yap, and any question that was asked, the response should be like, I guess this relates to Trump's insurrection in a weird sort of way, but let me tell you what happened when Trump committed insurrection. You know, fuck this not calling witnesses. I don't like that.
Whose decision was that?
No one's made a decision yet, but they're all saying that the Democrats are choosing not to call witnesses.
Is it because they just think that, like, it'll be a waste of time?
The official word, is that we have all the evidence we need on video. But I still want to call witnesses. Like, so what if you have all the? So what? Call witnesses. Call Trump.
Get Boebert in there.
Yeah, right. You know,
get the people who were like giving tours the day before.
Yeah, I would 100% do that. And if the Republicans want to call witnesses, then the Patrick Leahy, or the president of the Senate during this one impeachment, he should just declare them like, nope, they have nothing to do with this. You don't get to.
Yeah, like, because they'll be like, well, I call Hunter Biden in. I'll be like, why?
Yeah, in your brief, put how he pertains to this.
Yeah, what did he do? Like,
yeah,
I call the manager of Antifa.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, so that video just showed like lots of more details. Oh, and I love the Republicans. Supposedly, I did catch either the defense or whatever it is, like, who's like really terrible.
Yeah.
That he said, what did he say? That the video was produced by Hollywood?
He said that, and then he went on Fox News later on in the evening and said, the Democrats, it was he really fucked up. He's like, the Democrats do this too. It's just that no one listens to him. And when Trump does it, everyone listens to him. And he's basically explained the Democrats' case in a nutshell. Trump told them to do this and they listened to him. That's what the prosecution is
supposedly
arguing.
Trump's freaking out, or like, because he can't. The funny thing about this whole impeachment thing is he can't tweet.
Yeah,
he can't say anything. It's hysterical. He can't say fake news. He can't incite people. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, you want to remove him from running for office, but honestly, without social media,
he's nothing.
I don't think he could run.
Yeah.
Because it starts with social media, and then it goes to cable news and the newspapers and whatever.
Well,
and it goes from there. And
Twitter came out today and said even if Trump ran again, they wouldn't give him his account back.
Good.
He's just done. He's done forever. So
like he is unlike other politicians who would run. he is one that needs social media.
Oh,
he
yeah.
literally is a meme in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
And he's nothing without it. He can't do anything because all he could do is create drama. That's
Yeah.
it. He can only create drama in like the worst way possible, not like in a stupid like Housewives of Beverly Hills, but like in a real problematic way.
Yeah.
And he can't do that. So he can't dominate the conversation. He can't you can't dominate the conversation. When you dominate the conversation, then that trickles down to other areas, and then he can't do any of that. It's awesome. They basically cut him off. He can't even walk into the door.
Well, it'll be, yeah, he's going to quickly become irrelevant. Now, I know I've heard people say he's going to break his silence, and he'll get airtime on Fox News for sure. OAN, he'll get in the but like nothing he says, it won't matter.
I don't think the regular network should even air it because it's just going to be a ass kiss fest anyway. It's not going to be like he's getting he's not going to get like questioned by anybody legitimate. He's even Fox. Like I guarantee you, if Trump went on, he would demand that Chris Wallace couldn't do it or something.
Right? Yeah.
It'd have to be Sean Hannity.
Well, it is weird. I mean, the Senate trial, it should be over relatively soon. It's just so. I heard Josh Hawley, Marco Rubio. A lot of them today were just like doodling in their notebooks.
Oh yeah,
Josh Hawley put his feet up or something on the chair ahead of him.
And then he refuses to wear a mask still. Isn't there like a rule they can put in? You have to wear a mask?
Well, I thought, there is. The Capitol's federal building, so there's already a law. It's just that the Senate sergeant at arms, whoever, has to enforce it. When Biden put the thing in place.
What?
When Biden put that thing in place that you got to wear a mask on all federal property, that would include that.
But isn't Schumer is he technically in charge of the Senate?
He is, but this is a weird one. For some reason, during impeachment, normally Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader, and the Vice President is the President of the Senate. Kamala Harris is president. But for impeachment hearings, the longest serving, this is how fucked up American law is sometimes, the longest serving member of the majority party is the president of the Senate for the impeachment. That's how Patrick Leahy is president of the Senate for the purposes of this proceeding.
Do you want a little Patrick Leahy fact?
What?
Do you want a little fun fact?
Yeah.
Not just is he the longest running senator, I guess, in the Senate for the Democrats, but he's also the most recurring actor in any Batman movies.
Really?
Yes, you know how he was in The Dark Knight and he confronts the Joker? Supposedly he's in all the movies.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if he was in Batman vs Superman, but he was in all the other ones. Zack Snyder sucks. So he probably was like,
right.
Yeah. Or Patrick Leahy's like, I don't want to be in that stinker.
Right.
he knew better. He knew better. But he's supposedly in all the Batman movies. Supposedly he's in the Burton ones too, and he's he's on a voice in the cartoons. Yeah, he donates like whatever money he gets. He gives
that's hilarious.
The organization, but he's supposedly like a huge fan. Yeah, he's like I think his biggest part was probably Dark Knight, where he confronts the Joker.
Sure.
And it's really funny. So just a little fact. I mean, I'm not the first one to bring this up. It's been brought before, but it's one of those odd things. But
that's hilarious.
At least it's like that and not like, I don't know, something horrible. I can't even.
Right? Yeah, like he appeared in all of Jared's Subway ads.
Ted Cruz is in all the Jared Subway ads. It's really weird. I want to make sure I'm in every single one.
Well.
Josh Hawley's in the like all the Hitler Youth videos. I mean, so I think Patrick Leahy, that's good.
It is weird though. Like because I guess there's really not like a ton more to say about the impeachment hearings. We're only on day 2 of it. We haven't even really gotten to the meat of it yet. But the district attorney out of Fulton County, which is Atlanta, brought a opened a criminal case against Trump today. And that's like Trump's crime spree was national. It was nationwide. He fucked with, just off the top of your head, think of all the places he fucked around with: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada.
Oh yeah, isn't Georgia going? Yeah, you said Georgia's going after him specifically for that.
It is. And that's the other thing, is that it doesn't have to be like Georgia's run by Republicans, but like not every, like there's a district attorney in a city going after him. Like that means each state in which Trump fucked around in, there's probably 50 or 60 jurisdictions that can bring suits against him.
Well, that guy from Georgia, it's like not everyone's a fucking psychopath. They're not all Ron DeSantis or fucking Josh Hawley or whatever, or ass-kissing Marco Rubio.
So
that guy has nothing to gain by backing Trump. He's probably like, fuck him. He made my life miserable for months.
You could consider, people like MAGA chuds and QAnon death cultists were phoning that guy's house, hounding his children.
Yeah, his life was like threatened.
Yeah.
Now,
well, you could theoretically have like a deep, deep red state like Oklahoma or Alabama or whatever, and there's cities that are like run by Democrats, like Montgomery, Alabama, or Birmingham or whatever. There could be like a civil rights minded district attorney or city attorney that brings suit against Trump. I mean, I hope that happens. I
remember Trump made some like shit. It was either Trump or someone else in the Republican or whatever made a shitty comment about like how all the cities are run like shit, or some attack on Democrats or something. They try to like attack them, but it's like, or why is that the case? They're always Democrats. It's like, well, yeah, because it's like a higher population. People who live in cities tend to be a little more educated, a little more open-minded, a little more, there's more people too. And that's kind of why a lot of the major cities in the country tend to go to Democrats.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
The current state. Maybe you guys should think about the current state of the Republican Party. Why you're so shitty?
Yeah.
Like why are you not appealing to younger people? Why are you not appealing to? It's things like that, and they're never going to look inward.
Well, I think that those are the fronts. I hope to see a lot more lawsuits, and honestly, Biden and the administration are doing great things to start. He's done a lot of great executive orders. We haven't heard so much about those over the last week or so, but just yesterday I saw that they are moving to tweak the U.S. Postal Service Board of Governors, and that's clearly an effort to get rid of DeJoy. Although I don't know if I would get rid of him. I would probably put in a new Board of Governors and then make him go testify in front of Congress. But
yeah, he can't. He needs to pay. I'm sorry. Like he needs to pay. Joseph didn't get his Christmas cards.
Still haven't. We never did. The Shutterfly refunded the money to my wife's account, and
you'll be fine.
Yeah. So we but we were gonna send out Christmas cards. We never did. That sucks. It's like a little thing, and that's a super minor kind of funny thing. But like, there's plenty of people there's plenty of people I know who still pay their bills with envelopes and stamps and stuff. Older people. And
there's people that make their living.
Yeah.
With it.
Exactly.
Me.
Yeah.
I've had to refund people after months because I'm like, after a while, it's like, well, I got to refund them or something.
Yeah.
There's packages that never, and these were with tracking numbers. This wasn't even like just like I threw in letter mail, and like that shit like that happens all the time, no matter what. If you mail out like 1,000 envelopes and one doesn't make it, that's still a pretty good track record.
It is, yeah.
But when you have when you're mailing out packages with tracking numbers and that person's not getting them, that means the system was fucked up, and it was fucked. I talked to people at the post office. They said it. They had the DeJoy and we talked about this in the podcast, they, by orders of Trump, dismantled millions of dollars in equipment, tax paid millions of dollars in equipment that to the point where they could not be put back together.
Oh yeah.
So destroyed, not just dismantled, but completely destroyed, made inoperable, and they never replaced them. They never got them back and going. This guy just for that alone.
Yeah.
But it was never provided. He never provided a reason why he did it.
And it's clearly everything went to hell. You know, the mail is significantly later.
What reason? Like, here's this mail sorter we use that helps speed the process, make sure that the American public gets their mail on time. I'm
just going to destroy it.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. He should be in prison.
There was no, not even there was no answer. Like when he was subpoenaed to Congress before the election, I remember there was that one guy who said like something about him going to jail, and Joy was like, wow, that's fucked up. I mean, I'm sure. Listen, that guy's probably not going to go to jail, but
no, probably not.
Who the fuck knows? I mean, I feel like the one problem with American society is there's no. I feel like there's no justice sometimes when it comes to like, he's a rich ghoul. I mean, who knows? Maybe he will go to jail. Who knows?
Well, it's just rare when that happens.
There's a case that could be made. Again, just destroying equipment for no reason. I mean, fuck. That should be enough for like someone to go after Trump on.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you have an office job, if you're listening to the show and you have an office job, and let's say you're the manager of a Burger King or whatever, try destroying a fryer, or if you run an office, try chucking a Xerox thing out the window and see what the company does. They'll press charges. They'll press criminal charges against you because you destroyed equipment.
You basically made it that the thing that they're supposed to do couldn't be done.
Yeah.
And it like that should be can't they go after Trump after this on just that like on that?
There's probably enough separation. There's probably no memo from Trump to this guy that says destroy.
I guarantee you there.
Well, yeah, I'll bet you could find like when like the Chris Christie Bridgegate thing where you found little memos that said like, hey, it's time for some traffic problems or whatever. You might find shit like that. Remember that woman who went to jail? Kelly. She's the woman who sent that memo, time for some traffic problems in this town. She went to prison for like a year. Then she got out. Now she's running for office as a Republican, naturally, in New Jersey.
Of course.
Yeah. So, well, that's the U.S. So things are progressing. You are seeing the Biden administration.
Well, they got rid of. You said they got rid of somebody, or they.
Well, one of the board of governors is going to retire, and Biden can replace him, and then 4 of them are up for replacement. And through the quirks of the system, Joe Biden can get a majority on the postal governing board,
which would oust DeJoy.
Yes, they're the ones that hire and fire DeJoy. So theoretically, anybody Biden brings aboard is not going to be happy with what DeJoy did. That'd probably be like my number one interview question is like, hey, how do you feel about the changes made recently in the post office? And if the person said, I love them, I'd show them the door. And if they said, fuck up that DeJoy, then I'd hire them.
There's people in the post that fucking hate that man.
Yeah.
I mean, he made everyone's lives miserable for months, and it was all for the election. That's all it was.
100%. It was so naked, so
it was so obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Trump on TV saying like one complaint. Well, there was like a twofold thing: destroy and then privatize.
Yeah,
which is like a Republican wet dream. And the post office is the last thing that should be privatized. Like, there's all these morons because they watched like fucking Castaway or something. They think that FedEx is capable of doing all these things. We're not going to. It is not in their financial benefit to deliver an envelope to some guy who lives in an unincorporated area.
Yeah.
That's 30 miles away from another city.
That's the
They're
thing.
not going to do it.
A lot of these knuckleheads don't realize it. Like, if there was no federally subsidized post office, nobody'd be fucking delivering mail to South Dakota. You know, nobody would deliver mail to like fucking Whitefish, Montana. There's like 3 cities in a 1,000,000 square mile radius. It's like 1,000,000 times easier to deliver mail in New York. You know,
so it's so funny. Oh yeah, it is, and it's so funny because all these like right wing stuff who like gain power because of states like South Dakota, North Dakota, Ox, Jizz, Nebraska, is that and Cock and Taint, Utah. Don't forget them.
Right.
Go Taints. They they rely, like, they need the post office too.
Yeah.
And they probably need it, like you said, they probably need it more because without them, they're not going to get the fucking mail.
Right.
And these people they elect are so willing to fuck them.
Yeah.
Because they probably know that at the end of the day, they could get away with it. Mm-hmm. Ted Cruz said, go on TV like he did like a week or 2 ago and said something about how Democrats were like the party of Wall Street or something. And it was like,
his wife runs Goldman Sachs. Yeah.
He's a
Goldman Sachs
like
person,
a fucking partner in Goldman. It's like, fuck you, dude. Who are you? Like, you're either incredibly dumb, which we know he's not.
Right. He's not dumb.
He thinks his voters are dumb.
They are.
And he's right because they voted for him. Sorry, Cruz. What was
it? Team
Cruz. Fanatics, Cruz addicts, Ted addicts, or Zodiac killer fans. Zodiac and X.
It's like Zodiac killers, but with a UZ at the end instead of like
killers.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Right, what else are we going to talk about?
The last thing on our list, and this is the very end, is we were going to mention the passing of Larry Flynt.
Who else died recently? There was like somebody big that died. There's been like several people.
Yeah, famous actor died.
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer died.
Yeah, he was like 91. Cloris Leachman.
Yep.
Crap! There was this other famous woman that passed away. It was like in her 90s.
Yeah. Well, there was a string of people. As you're looking that up, I'll mention something about Larry Flynt. Larry Flynt, like that's a weird one. I will say there's certainly a lot to be critical of Larry Flynt.
Cicely Tyson.
Oh yeah, right.
He was
Miles Davis's. Wow. Yeah. There's a lot about Larry Flynt not to admire, but there is something to admire, and that's the case that was turned into that movie, People versus Larry Flynt, which was a good movie with Woody from Cheers and Courtney Love.
Yeah, because of that movie, that's like really how I reference.
Yeah.
Larry Flynt. I mean, Larry Flynt also has always been kind of famous for really going after Republican hypocrites. His biggest thing he did probably was during the Clinton impeachment, where he really went after. He basically he used like his own money too.
He put a bounty on
Republicans who were having affairs that were going after Clinton. He was going after hypocrites.
He said, if you have evidence of a Republican having an affair, then I'll give you money for it. So he put like a bounty out on evidence of affairs, which I 100% support in that context. You know, because these weren't people trying to live their private lives. These were people trying to.
They impeached Clinton for something disingenuous. I'm sure if they really want to impeach him on something real, they could have found something.
Sure.
But they impeached him on something superfluous and dumb. And that was a waste of tax dollars. Going after Trump in the early year, I would say that the thing they always should have went after was the emoluments clause.
Yeah.
But what he did with Ukraine and everything, it was called because of that.
Yeah,
that was basically
impeachable.
It was it was highly impeachable, but it also kind of you knew like how this would lead to
Yeah.
January 6th. And not because getting impeached had nothing to do with him leading to January 6th. It was an example of how corrupt he was.
Yeah.
And how,
yeah.
like, he would call George up. He was literally impeached for what he did. When he called Georgia, it's like,
yeah,
that's what he was impeached for. So Larry Flynt, he would feud with Jerry Falwell, who is a evil, bigoted hypocrite. His son's a piece of shit who lacks the charm of the guy from the Gemstone show.
Yeah, the Royal Gemstones.
Yeah, what's that actor's name though? I can always get his.
It's the guy from Roseanne, John Goodman.
No, well, yes, he's the dad. It's the guy who, what's his name? Danny McBride.
Yeah.
He always plays a scumbag.
Yeah.
Danny McBride is like what Jerry Falwell Jr. wishes he
was. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. But Jerry Falwell was a piece of shit. I tweeted this today. I said, Larry Flynt is walking in heaven and Jerry Falwell is roasting in hell. Yeah. I don't believe in any of that shit. I should tweet after. I don't believe in any of that stuff. But I like to think.
That's, I don't know. I mean, like Larry Flynt, I could take him or leave him, but I do appreciate what he did in that sense. You know what I mean? Like there's that freedom of speech. He fought a good case there, and he fought it on principle, and I agree with the principle upon which he fought it.
He fought so that you can see Bush magazine.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I mean, listen, that's
well, he did. I mean, it was, I remember, I was thinking about this the other day, like the ACLU used to take a lot of unsavory cases, like they would defend the right of like the Klan to like hold a Klan
they'll defend
rally.
almost anybody. Like when that's the slippery slope sometimes of the ACLU, right. Is that like, they bring up a good point, but I will say, you don't have to tolerate fascism.
Well,
you don't have to tolerate people that wish for your demise.
Yeah. And it is different between like saying they have a legal right to do it and also saying that we have the right to like shun them into oblivion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's a weird one, but it was kind of a different time. Anyway, so Larry Flynt died, and it's worth kind of noting and commenting on. Probably see fewer and fewer people like Larry Flynt in the future. And it was a good movie. And Courtney Love was really good in it. And that's kind of what turned me around on Courtney Love. Is that?
I hated her before that movie.
Yeah.
I never liked her. I mean, you ever heard the conspiracy theory?
Oh yeah.
And like the
Carano.
guy from The Mentors knew about it, and then he seriously died.
Well, I think that I don't know. It was a weird one, but anyway, so it's there we go.
Well, I mean, listen, he was a unique individual. He was a character, and I thought he died 10 years ago. So
yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of old people passing away. Like I said, Chris Plummer was a great actor.
He was.
Probably the most notable thing he did recently was when Kevin Spacey got finally properly caught. Like it was I guess one of these like Hollywood insider things that people knew he was a piece of shit, but then it finally came out that he was. I love Family Guy did a cartoon where like they always have these like interstitials, and there was like a guy escaping from Kevin Spacey's basement, and I was like, this was like years before that. Did you ever see the one where this one's really funny because I feel like they get like a lot of insider Hollywood stuff. There was one where this was years before the Kardashians. What's the one who became trans? But she is not a Kardashian.
Yeah.
Jenner.
Yes.
When she was Bruce Jenner, there was an episode where Stewie says, no, she's a beautiful Norwegian woman or something. Yeah, he was describing Bruce, like, because there were like rumors for years that he wanted transition, but I think the general public didn't know this.
Sure.
I don't think, like, it was such a random thing. It was like, no, Family Guy, like, they didn't just throw that in, like, yeah, let's just make Kris Jenner a woman, and then out of nowhere, years later. It was
funny.
like one of these weird Hollywood insider things that like people knew that she wanted to be a woman,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It was like one of those jokes, but I think that that's why that Kevin Spacey joke, like when you look back at it now, it's like
Yeah.
that was like probably some truth to that.
Yeah. A little inside baseball.
Yeah, some inside base. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it. But Christopher Plummer, there was a movie that they were going to release that was like a big film, and he played like a famous rich guy, Kevin Spacey. Like it was like a major case, based on a major case, or
Yeah.
Wahlberg, and like someone gets kidnapped, some rich person, and he plays like the rich guy in the family, or whatever. They had to edit out all his scenes.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, yeah.
Plummer came in and did the whole thing, and it was just like funny. I'm like, why did they just get him to begin with? Why did you get like Kevin Spacey in old man makeup? Like,
yeah,
they had to like go in and edit out. Christopher Plummer was great. You wouldn't even know that they replaced what's his face. But I remember that was like I don't know if he did anything really after that, but that was like his last big like.
That's funny.
He was in Star Trek 6. He played a Klingon. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
He ripped up a Nazi flag.
Well, I looked at his IMDb page, and the guy was in like 200 movies or something. He had a long career.
Yeah, one of the greats. And all right, so, and you know who is not going to be one of the greats?
Gina Carano.
Carano.
I was trying to say Carano, like, yeah.
She's other like. You know, it's funny. I'm curious what's going to happen of this. I know we're going to wrap this up, but we started. We're going to end with this. What happens now? Does she just go on like a grievance tour and goes on like whatever shows will take her? Like Rogan will interview her.
Oh yeah.
I can see even Bill Maher fucking in, you know, because he's a shithead now. Who knows? I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, she's gonna go on the right wing victimization tour. That's what'll happen.
They're silencing us. Hollywood is the real problem. Look, they fired our greatest hero. Yeah. Okay. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.